Texas Congressman Dan Crenshaw has entered the race for the Republican nomination in 2024 today. Rising to fame quickly after his win in the 2018 midterms, Crenshaw is consistently plotted as a bright young star in the future Republican Party. Popular among younger conservatives and the moderate caucus of the party, Crenshaw is a candidate that could benefit from more exposure of his policies and ideas. Pete Buttigieg, a formerly successful 2020 candidate, has announced he will run for president again this cycle. One of the early 2024 favorites, Buttigieg was the victor of the Iowa caucuses back in 2020, before eventually dropping out and endorsing Joe Biden. The dynamics of his 2024 run will be completely different, however. In 2020, he was a relative nobody that rapidly rose in polls and national media attention, unlike anything we had ever seen. This time around, he'll be running as one of, if not one of the many, frontrunners. Whether or not his popularity among the moderate Democrats holds firm, it should be interesting to see how far to the left he campaigns. Senator Tammy Baldwin joins Amy Klobuchar and Joe Kennedy III as the third senator to announce their candidacy for president in 2024. The first openly gay woman ever elected to the United States Congress, Baldwin, from Wisconsin, was also considered as a possible running mate for Joe Biden in 2020. Typically labeling herself as more on the left side of the party's ideological divide, she'll be one of the many candidates anticipated to be vying for progressive votes. Big news as Vice President Mike Pence finally announced his campaign for president today. Previously serving as governor of Indiana, Pence came under scrutiny during his vice presidency for his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic in the United States back in 2020. According to 538's rating of candidates' ideologies in 2016, he ran as the most conservative vice presidential candidate of the past 40 years. Pence was widely believed to have won the 2016 vice presidential debate between him and Tim Kaine, with Pence seen as a cool-tempered and sharp to policy-related questions. This could prove beneficial to his run in 2024, as he is already considered a co-favorite, but could benefit greatly from debates held later on this year. Another senator has entered the race on the Democratic side. This time it's Cory Booker, who ran back in 2020 finding limited success and an early withdrawal. Booker will look to catch the support of a wider coalition this time around, amid higher national name recognition. Booker saw rises and falls in polling numbers in 2020 and was able to qualify for 5 straight debates, more than most other candidates can attest to. An interesting announcement today as Tucker Carlson, the well-known Fox News TV host, has announced his intention to run for the 2024 Republican nomination live on air. Carlson has been one of the most popular figures for the political right in media over the past decade. By declaring his candidacy, he has simultaneously announced he is suspending Tucker Carlson Tonight, his show, for the remainder of his campaign. Viewed as one of the many dark horse picks in this cycle, Carlson has pulled ahead of a lot of other notable candidates in hypothetical Republican polls so far. Huge announcement this afternoon as Nikki Haley, the former governor of South Carolina and ambassador to the United Nations, has announced her campaign for president of the United States today. Haley is seen as a co-favorite alongside Mike Pence for the nomination in 2024. However, no candidate on either side has as much intrigue and excitement revolving around their campaign as Haley does. Haley had been heavily considered for the vice presidency in 2012 and in 2016, even heading into 2020 with rumors around her replacing Pence as President Donald Trump's running mate. Often thought to have been groomed for the nomination in 2024, Haley has virtually everything going for her, but at the end of the day, it will all come down to the voters. We seem to be on a stretch of major presidential announcements on both sides, as the presumptive favorite for the Democratic nomination, California Senator Kamala Harris has made her campaign announcement. Seen as a candidate with a great shot at winning the nomination back in 2020, Harris's campaign fizzled out far earlier than expected. But now, 4 years later, things seem even more promising for her presidential aspirations. A fierce and skilled debater, Harris will be a tough out if she continues to lead throughout the summer and into the fall. Another major candidacy, the 2016 runner-up on the Republican side, Ted Cruz, has announced his intention to run again in 2024. Another top-tier candidate, Cruz has surprisingly seen an increase in his national popularity since his 2016 campaign came to a close. Once thought of as criminally unlikable, Cruz is now one of the most popular senators among the conservative faction of the Republican Party. With his 2024 re-election up in the air in that Senate race, as Texas continues to shift further and further left, this may be Cruz's final shot at the presidency. Aged 53, Cruz has long had success among social conservatives and libertarian conservatives. Now let's take a look at all of the Democratic candidates that have announced as of February 31st, 2023. Starting in the top left, we have Pete Buttigieg, followed by Senators Tammy Baldwin, Cory Booker, and Kamala Harris. In the next row, Governors Roy Cooper and Andy Beshear, followed by Senators Amy Klobuchar and Joe Kennedy III. Finally, we have Stacey Abrams and Mark Cuban, followed by Governor Gretchen Whitmer. That makes 11 candidates so far, as we anticipate almost double that when all is said and done. As for the Republicans, Vice President Mike Pence is followed by Congressman Dan Crenshaw, Tucker Carlson, and Nikki Haley. Senators Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, and Tim Scott follow, with Texas Governor Greg Abbott in the mix as well. Blue state Republican governors Charlie Baker and Larry Hogan had announced their candidacies last year, alongside Senator Doug Collins and Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. 12 candidates make up the Republican field so far, with many more expected to join. A new poll has been conducted by the New York Times that shows Senator Kamala Harris with a 5-point edge over a pack of other candidates. Pete Buttigieg and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez come in tied at second place with 14% apiece. They are followed by Governor Andrew Cuomo at 12% and Joe Kennedy III, the senator from Massachusetts, at 10%. Cortez and Cuomo are the only candidates on this first page that are yet to announce their presidential bids, but both are expected to do so at some point in the near future. One can certainly conclude that Harris and Buttigieg's announcements have contributed to a spike in their numbers. Kennedy III, on the other hand, has risen rapidly since his announcement last November. On the next page of candidates, Stacey Abrams sits firm at 7% alongside Senator Elizabeth Warren, who is still yet to give any indication on her intentions. California Governor Gavin Newsom has slipped a few points despite being expected to announce in the coming weeks. Businessmen and entrepreneurs Andrew Yang and Mark Cuban round out the top 10 at 3% and 2% respectively. Fox News has just released a brand new Republican primary poll that has a few surprises to say the least. Haley has taken her first lead of any kind over Pence in this poll at 21% and by a considerable 3 points. Cruz and Hawley seemingly make up the second tier of candidates at 11% and 9% each, while Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker has soared to 9% after not even registering 1% in the previous poll. He leads Florida Senator Marco Rubio at 7%, Tucker Carlson at 5%, Ron DeSantis at 5%, Dan Crenshaw at 3%, and Greg Abbott at 1%. Lots more is expected to change over the coming year as we count down the days to the first primaries next year. And finally, you guys, the viewers, can make your first impact on the results of the series. The first subscriber decided poll is linked in the description below, so head on over there and select your 5 favorite candidates on the list for both the Democratic and Republican primaries. It doesn't matter what party you are affiliated with, please vote for both parties' primaries. Your vote will have significant implications on the rest of the series, so make it count. Also, be sure that you are subscribed to the channel in order for your vote to actually count. That about does it for today's episode. If you haven't already, watch the first 2 episodes. Check them out right here. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you have not already, and make sure to tune in next time.